So I think sometimes it's easy to get into this mindset that there is a good outcome and a bad outcome to any given event. You know, sometimes it can be like, either I get this job and I live the life of my dreams and it will be beautiful and I'll be rich and famous and happy and everything will be wonderful. Or if I don't get this job, then I will die in the streets, face down in the gutter with a gray rat named Gerald. Or with relationships, it can be like, either I will marry this person and we'll have kids and we'll have grandchildren and it'll be beautiful and our descendants will be telling our story for generations and it'll be like Romeo and Juliet, except instead of killing ourselves, we'll be married and happy. Or it can feel like if the relationship doesn't work out, then I will die in the streets with a gray rat named Gerald face down in the gutter because Gerald is always there in all of my worst outcomes. No one likes Gerald. He's a dumb gray rat. He's gross. He smells bad. He probably eats pizza that's old. Because he's a rat. What do rats eat? Pizza in the gutter, apparently. And I think there are a lot of things in our lives that can make us feel that way. That either things will be beautiful and wonderful and we'll be happy forever, or if things don't work out, then we will be miserable and we will be loveless and it'll be bad. My mind went blank right there, so just throw up a picture of Gerald and call it a day. But I think recently I've really kind of come to realize that life isn't like that. You know, you don't have only one chance at something. Typically speaking, you have many chances at many different things. And it's like, hey, if this job doesn't work out, that doesn't mean that you're gonna die in the streets. It just means that maybe you'll just have to do a couple more job interviews, and they suck, but you gotta do what you gotta do. The reality of many situations is that if things don't work out in one particular scenario, there's something else out there. You know, if this job doesn't work out, there are other jobs. If this relationship doesn't work out, that doesn't mean you're gonna die loveless in the streets. That just means that you'll have to keep on looking. If you don't get into the school that you want to get in, that doesn't mean that you're going to die uneducated. If your business doesn't work out, that doesn't mean that you will never be a successful entrepreneur. And speaking for myself personally, it feels like there have been so many instances in my life where it's like, if this thing doesn't work out, then I am gonna die miserable and alone and I'll be forever unhappy and so on and so forth. But here we are, I guess. And there have been a lot of things that haven't worked out for me. And looking back on them, whenever these things happened, it always felt like the end of the world to me. But again, here we are, and typically speaking, whenever something fell through, something else came along, and things ended up being okay. And then the crazy thing about life is that sometimes those things that replace the thing that fell through, sometimes those things fall through, and so you have to find a different thing to replace the thing that fell through that was a replacement for the thing that fell through. Yeah. And that's no fun. It's never any fun to feel failure. It's never any fun to feel rejection or unhappiness or anything negative like that. But again, you almost always have another chance at something. And I don't mean to imply that you always get another chance at everything, because sometimes you only get one chance at something and you miss it. Sometimes a band comes around for their final tour and it is their actual final tour. It's very rare that happens, but it does happen. And I think that in those instances where you really do only have one chance at something, I think that you just have to accept it. There is no other way to go about it. You know, you can wallow in self-pity all you want, but that won't really do anything. And I'm not saying to repress your emotions or anything crazy like that, but I do think that a lot of the time you just have to stay hopeful. Sometimes it feels like some of the videos I make are for other people. They're made with an audience in mind. You know, why I like a specific game or something is usually directed towards other people. You know, it's me explaining myself and going, hey, this is why I like Silent Hill. But then there are other videos that I do which usually don't perform well, and they're videos that are just for myself. They're videos that I can return to if I'm feeling down about a certain thing. And it's weird. It's a weird idea that I'm making videos for my future self who is probably feeling unhappy at some point. But my thought process is that I'm feeling pretty good about things now, but I may not always, you know? And this is a thing that I've struggled with in the past, this feeling of losing my one chance at success, or, you know, my one chance at love, or my one chance at happiness, or something like that. And so I'm feeling pretty good about things now, but the thing is that happiness comes and goes, and sadness comes and goes. And so this is a video that is more for me than anyone else. And I think a lot about that Wayne Gretzky quote, that Michael Scott quote, where he's quoting Wayne Gretzky, that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I tend to feel that even though things can feel hopeless sometimes, I think that ultimately whether or not you get another chance is oftentimes up to you. It's just a matter of whether or not you want to take that chance. It's a matter of whether or not you see the opportunity that's there and whether or not you try to capitalize on it, even if you don't succeed. I think that ultimately whether or not you have more than one chance at something is just kind of up to you. I think that sometimes it can feel like you missed the perfect opportunity for something, and maybe you did. But also maybe there's a second perfect opportunity around the corner. You know, they talk about once in a lifetime opportunities, but I'm kind of feeling jaded on the entire idea of once in a lifetime, because look at how many once in a lifetime crises we've had, right? How many recessions and, you know, COVID and whatever other bullcrap. And on a much more negative note, think of how many more once in a lifetime experiences we will have in our lifetimes. So really, I'm not saying that all you have to do is try, you know, and sooner or later you'll succeed. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying though is that, you know, you can't succeed unless you try. To share another quote that's been in my mind for a while, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. If you feel like an opportunity has passed you by, then I'm sorry, it sucks. It sucks to feel that way. But maybe, and this is a big maybe, but maybe there's an even better opportunity waiting around the corner. And no one can say for sure whether or not that's the case. No one can say for sure whether or not you'll have a second chance at something. But all that you can really do is press on in spite of that uncertainty. Because one thing is for certain, the opportunity that you may have missed is behind you. And another thing that is for certain is that any opportunities in front of you will be missed as well unless you actively pursue them. So I guess that's all I have to say. And so hopefully this helps out others. Hopefully it helps out myself in the future. So thank you for watching and have a nice night.